What's up YouTube? It's me, Jess, and I'm an opera singer. Today's sponsored video is going to be a performance analysis of Kansas singing Carry On Wayward Son. Let's go.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Once I rose above the noise and confusion.
Okay, pause. Okay, I've never heard of this band called Kansas. That being said, this sound is unbelievably crystal clear. The vowels are crystal clear, the lyrics are crystal clear, the onsets are crystal clear. You know, when the video starts, it just starts right away. So I don't know if, they cued each other in. I'm sure, of course, that happened. But what we get from the very beginning of the video, you don't see or hear anything. They just start right on, and their onset was so clean. And the ends of their phrases are crystal clear and crisp and clean. They're coming off all together, which is not easy to do, takes a lot of practice, and also just feeling your bandmates.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
Just everything sounds very well balanced. Nothing sounds too round, nothing sounds too bright, nothing sounds too dark. It just sounds clear. That's the best way I can put it. It's so stinking good. And I don't know who's singing the upper harmony. He is singing really high. I believe he's hitting a C5. Yeah, C5, you all. Woo! His sound is so clear. All of them, all of their sounds are clear. And I didn't mention this, their harmonies are tight. That is so important. It's unbelievably crystal clear. I love that. I'm over here geeking out. That's also hard considering the rhythm. There's a lot of emphasis on the offbeats. I feel like I'm finding that as a pattern in a few of these classic rock or progressive rock. I'm sorry I didn't listen to rock at all growing up. This is all, something I'm being exposed to as of recently, but I'm finding a pattern where there's a lot of meter shifts, and there's also quite a bit of emphasis on the offbeats, which is great because it shows a certain level of musicianship. Your ear, your body naturally wants to go with the strong beats. That's beat, if you're in 4/4, that's beat 1 and 3. Definitely want to hear that strong downbeat. They come in on beat 2. And then not only that, some of the words are tied over, which then puts an emphasis on the offbeat. And so to incorporate all of that, the clarity of everything they're doing, and then on top of that, the clarity of sticking together and feeling the pulse, even though you're singing on the offbeats, is fantastic. It's so great. That being said, let's look at a couple of these lines to see how and where these offbeats are being emphasized. So the very first line reads, "Carry on, my wayward son." Which is actually interesting considering the title of the song is Carry On, Wayward Son. It doesn't have the word my in it. Maybe someone can explain that below. But the first word, carry, that happens on beat 2. So you get 1, carry on my wayward son. You hear and you can see on the screen those tied notes. The tied notes happen on the word my. You see the lines that are connecting the C6 to the following C6, the G5 to the next G5, and the E5 to the next E5. Then it goes on to the word way, and that is a G major chord in second inversion with a D in the bass, or a D in the bottom note. And you see how those lines are tied over to the next bar, which happens on beat 1. That is your strong beat. The tied note means you're holding on the note from whatever beat before. So you're not singing anything new on this strong beat, beat 1, where we feel the pulse. Then the next part of the word, which is word, wayward, happens on a G major chord. This time just in first inversion, so you have the B in the bass. So it's the same chord as the chord before, just inverted in a different way. And again, this is tied to beat 2. And then the word son happens on the and of beat 2. And then it's tied, and then you get a nice little decoration of the word son, which clips off on beat 4. So you can see the emphasis of these tied notes and the drive towards the offbeat, which goes hand in hand too with the title. When you think of the word wayward, which is like stubborn, hard to work with, I think that those two go really hand in hand. I don't know really what the meaning of the song is. We've only heard a little bit so far, but I'm liking those correlations already. That's really nice. Interestingly, we are hearing quite a bit of C major. The first 4 chords are C major in different inversions. You get C in second inversion, C in root, and then C in first inversion. Then it goes to G major in different inversions, and then it lands on an F major chord, the last chord on the word son.
Carry on, my wayward son.
And that continues on until the very end, where the lyrics read, "Don't you cry no more." We finally get an A minor chord, the key of the piece, which is very interesting. So you're hearing essentially a lot of major 3 in the very beginning. And to me, my ears, this just sounds like C major for a while, because you do get that dominant feeling with the G major chord. And then it ends on a G major chord, which is the dominant chord in C major. And then that carries on, and then it cools down, and you finally get this hunkin' A minor chord. The second chord on the word no is an A minor chord, which is on the and of 4. And then it's played again in the exact same way on beat 1. And that is sustained for 3 beats. Then you get a rest, and then it goes on to whatever next part.
Carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
So I think that's interesting, just this idea of stubbornness. You're hearing a lot of C major, and it's dominant, which in the key of A would be major 3, and then the dominant, which would be major 7. And then at the very end of I don't know if this is the end of the chorus, Don't You Cry No More, at the very last second, on an offbeat, you get the A minor chord, the key of the piece. So all of these things, just to kind of pick apart and put together and see how they correlate with one another, and then also see how they correlate and are responsive to the lyrics of the song and the title of the song. Now moving on to the instrumentation part, because that does also correlate with this idea of stubbornness, this idea of not being on the strong beats, going against the natural pulse of what you would want to clap to, essentially. The bandmate who is playing the keyboards, which has an organ type sound to it, if you pay attention to his part, he is really emphasizing the offbeats. He is playing a really big chord and loudly on beat 3, and then he plays again very loudly later on beat 4. You just hear this duh, duh. It's pretty striking considering how it comes in. It just kind of comes in out of nowhere. And even though beat 3 is a strong beat, it is not the stronger of all the beats within the bar. Beat 1 is the strongest. And then for it to kind of come in out of nowhere on like forte, on this huge hunking chord, and just sit on that for a quick second and then release quickly, and then we hear it again later coming back on beat 4, it just makes that particular instrumentation very distinctive. Your ear just kind of naturally gravitates towards that. Then while that is going on, you get this awesome string motif, string theme that I hope continues throughout the song, because it is so sick. So the stringed theme goes da 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 da. That is so nice how it lands and ends on an F sharp, which in the key of A minor is La, just the raised 6th scale degree, which would naturally be raised if you're going up to A, the tonic. It would go F sharp, La, ti, do. That string theme is really nice because you really get that outline of the A minor chord. We're in the home key of A minor, something we were really lacking in the chorus. We didn't get much of it until the very last second, and then that was nicely carried out through from the vocals into the stringed instrument, which was so nice. And to keep that as a theme, the thematic material that maybe will develop later on in the song, is just this nice overall roundabout sound to the idea of the importance of the A minor chord and where it sits within the harmony and how it sits harmonically within this piece. So just after the part where the electric organ plays those fortissimo chords on beats 3 and then I believe later beat 4, we get this smooth transition into this new part where the guitar theme is still happening, but it is varied. So the end of the guitar theme goes, remember we end on that F sharp, raised scale degree 6 in the key of A minor. Now the transition happens just after this, where we get a nice E, and it just hits it, I believe, twice before going into this new part. Now, what's interesting about this new part is the thematic material is still there, but it almost seems reversed. So the very beginning of this new transition, we get 2 slow notes, da da, just like at the end of the guitar theme, we get da 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 da. The beginning went, you You get a little bit of quicker note movement at the very beginning, and then it slows down to longer note durations at the end of the theme. Now this transition, you kind of get the opposite. You get the beginning of this new section where the first couple of notes are longer duration notes, and then it starts to move a little bit. I think that is a cool play on what we heard before because it's still familiar, but different enough to make it exciting and make this new section distinctive from the first section. The last thing that is really stand out about this transition part is that super high note in the guitar, which is an E6. Just kind of came out of nowhere, but I think goes with this idea of we're taking this theme and we are rearranging it to make it sound different, but not too different where you can't recognize it, but different enough to where you know it's some sort of a variation. Just really, really cool.
Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion.
Yes.
I was soaring ever higher,
Ooh.
but I flew too high.
Wow.
Though my eyes could see, I still was a blind man. Though my mind could think, I still was a madman. I hear the voices when I'm dreaming. I can hear them say,
Oh my god, his voice is so good. It sounds so easy. I like too the vibrato that he's bringing at the end of some of the phrases. You can see when the vibrato is coming because his jaw kind of moves up and down when it's about to happen, but it sounds really good. I love this sound. I can't find a better word. It's so clear. I feel like what you hear in a recording from them is exactly what you would hear live. I don't know, I just get that correlation. You know, you don't have all this auto-tune and all of this mass crazy, heavily filtered production going on. It sounds live. It just sounds really, really clean. And it just sounds like they're just extremely talented to where it's just fluid from CD to live. That's really crazy. Man, I think my favorite line in this part is the line, "But I flew too high." The way he sang it was just, to me, literal perfection. Everything about it, from all of the vowels, the consonants, and the fluidity from note to note, the connectivity in the melodic line was really nice. And the way he landed on the word high, considering it was one of the lower notes within just that one phrase, was just really, really smooth. He is really, really good. I am a huge fan.
but I flew too high. Though my eyes could see, I still was a blind man. Though my mind could think, I still was a madman. I hear the voices when I'm dreaming. I can hear them say,
Nice.
carry on our wayward
Oh.
son.
Woo!
There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest.
happening? What is happening? I have so much admiration for this guy who's going from vocals to electric organ to percussion and then just hopping back in place wherever he's going. It's a lot of choreography, a lot of parts to remember, a lot of beats to remember, when you're supposed to come in and when you're supposed to leave one instrument and go to the next. I am really impressed. This is a show, you know what I mean? Wow, what was I gonna say? There was definitely something I needed to point out. Oh yeah, we went to church for a second. Hold on. You all, I cannot get over the guitar theme. Thematic material and all the variations is so sick. So there's the chorus that came back, and then the end of the chorus, they dropped out and did the last line, or maybe the last half of the line, acapella, which was a nice homage or remembrance from the very beginning. I gotta talk about that later on.
Don't you cry no more. No!
Then we get this hard beat, and right on the beat, you get this new thematic material in the guitar, which goes da 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 da.
Don't you cry no more.
No! Ah, it's so good. I think it's the speed and the fact that it's starting high and going low and then going right after we get this hard beat. I don't know, everything about it was just so satisfying. It's groovy. That's the word I'm looking for. It's super groovy. And then this transition to this mini electric organ solo moment, which is so out of the blue, but also fits. It really just feels like for 5 seconds they took you to church, and then we're going back to this, thematic material with the guitar theme. It's so good. Also because the speed at which he is playing on this electric organ is no joke. Look at how, you guys, look at how fluid, how easily his right hand is flowing on the right side of the organ as he's playing all of those crazy fast notes. He doesn't miss a beat. It's just like skyrockets through that little mini section, and it only lasts like 5 seconds, and then he's just hopping on over to the percussion part, which is nice to see him accompanied also with the tambourine. It sounds really good. Wow, 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 wow. That was such an epic ending. I didn't know when it was going to stop, but it's just one of those groovy moments where you just really wanted to keep going. It just reminds me a lot of just church, where it's just open-ended when it's going to end. There's no one's really tripping about if it's too long. We just are going with the vibe. I genuinely feel like that's what this song was all about. Now, going back to the very beginning, because I want to talk about that opening section. Just the various things that make it so distinctive and catchy. First, to start a song with a chorus, catchy. 2, to make it a cappella, catchy. 3, to have your bandmates come in on super tight harmonies that are crystal clear all the way throughout in this chorus. So catchy. These characteristics really make the listener want to chime in. It's one of those crowd-pleasing, crowd-involving type of moments, and you get that right off the bat at the beginning of the song. I think that's really important in order to grab a listener's attention. It's unfortunate how short our attention span has become over the course of time. That being said, I don't even know when this was filmed or when this was recorded, but this goes hand in hand with the idea of grabbing your listener's attention right away. This is a song, wherever you are, if you're at a festival, if you hear this going on, that first chorus that you hear a cappella, my ears are just gravitating towards that and nothing else, just that in particular. Let's talk about this guitar solo towards the end of the video. So the sponsor did let me know that the blonde-haired man playing the guitar, his name is Mr. Livgren. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Carrie Livgren. He is responsible for writing the piece. It's really nice to have the camera really pan in on him. It's just for a quick second. I do wish it was a bit longer on his solo. I'm not a guitar player. I'm a keyboardist. However, that being said, the movement of notes and the movement of fingering for this specific solo is so smooth. It's so good. It's nice to hear that thematic material that's been carried out throughout this song, and then hear that in relation to everyone else's solo. Just to hear how they match up and hear how they complement each other is really nice. And how you're going to hear that relationship between the thematic material and the solo is from how often that theme has been played beforehand up until now. We've heard it quite a bit, and it's really iconic. They make an effort to put that at the forefront, and even the variations on the theme still sounds thematic. So you're not losing this idea of what is the melodic theme of this piece, which lies, a lot in the guitar. So once you've heard that X amount of times, now you can appreciate the relationship between that and whatever solo is playing with it, right after it, or even before it. It's just this nice relationship that you can learn to appreciate after you've heard this material and you understand what even the solo represents in terms of the overall structure of the piece. It really allows the theme to stand out, and then it also allows, of course, the solo part to stand out. This vocalist, I know I've said it before, but his voice is so good. When he's holding on that word no more, you can hear it's a high note. No more. So he is holding this note on a B4, really, 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 really high for a male voice. So he's sustaining this note on the word more. And you can hear as he's holding the note, more of an ah-shaped vowel, totally necessary and a great sounding vowel for a note that high.
Don't you cry no more.
And then you hear, as the note is coming to an end, you can hear that ah kind of close off to an O, which is the true vowel of the word more.
Don't you cry no more.
Get this idea of I'm going to use whatever vowel is beneficial to me and my voice on this extremely high note within my register. And then I'm going to close off to the original vowel of the word so that I can give you an idea of what the actual word is and its true vowel. It's really nice to hear the small details because it's so easy to just kind of forget about that and let it go. But if you can incorporate that and it's well within your range and it sounds nice resonance wise, why not incorporate that? I am such a fan! If you liked all that you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Let me know in the comment section below what artist I should do a performance analysis on next. Lastly, make sure you check out the description box for ways you can keep in touch with me, get access to exclusive perks, check out the Soprano Notes blog, and or take a lesson with me. I hope you have a good day and I'll see you soon. Bye!